It is a new week in baseball. Welcome to MLB Tonight, presented by Camping World. In the absence of games, we continue from home. Matt Vasgersian and courtesy of NTT Home Plate Cam, Harold Reynolds and Dan Plesac. Guys, by the end of this week, I'm sure you're aware of this, it will be one full month of schedule gone to the current conditions in the world. It's hard to believe that we've been doing this for a month. We're all just hopeful that things normalize and we can get some baseball in eventually, Danny.
You know, Harold, I think and Matt, we're all restless to try to get outside and do something. Opening day has come and gone. We're still indoors, social distancing, washing our hands. It's becoming the new normal right now. And I think we all in the baseball world, at least, are looking forward to hopefully seeing some real baseball in the near future.
Yeah, it's going to get difficult sitting in the house now that the weather's starting to break out here on the East Coast a little bit. But you know, we take it day by day, and the news changes daily, and we'll continue to stay on top of it, and hopefully, before you know it, we may be back playing ball.
Yeah, well, players all over the country are certainly supporting the cause for COVID-19 research and much-needed funds. The Home Plate Project is happening now. It's Major League Baseball's initiative to support childhood hunger for those affected by the pandemic. Over 50 players representing every team have raised nearly $1 million. This much-needed relief goes to the U.S. and Canada in terms of folks that don't have access to the free or reduced price meals that schools offer every day. The partnership between Garth Brooks' Teammates for Kids Foundation and Big League Impact, led by Adam Wainwright and Kyle Gibson, has been a strong one, and the efforts are ongoing. So for Stephen Piscotty, who joins us on MLB Tonight, if it isn't donating his time to ALS research, which he's done plenty of, he has lent his support to the Home Plate Project. Stephen, thanks for the time. Thanks for the help. Welcome to the program, and tell us about the relief efforts that you're a part of.
You know, Adam Wainwright reached out to me about a couple of weeks ago, and before that, I'd seen in the news that a lot of kids that were counting on school meals were really struggling to get those, and he approached me and said that they've got this awesome initiative to partner with Garth Brooks and then get some meals to kids locally in my community here in Oakland. I know Adam has a lot of contacts throughout the league, and so we're kind of reaching out into all the cities, and was happy to jump on the opportunity to help out kids here in Oakland.
You know, hey, Stephen, it's Harold here. One of the things that you're doing is really way cool. The other thing I've been noticing is your guitar playing and singing ability. So I'm wondering, were you doing that at Stanford? Did you do that on the buses and the minors? I can just picture that happening, but how'd this all come about?
I just started playing in college and fell in love with it, and have been playing every not every day, but most days since, and it's one of my favorite things to do away from the baseball field. And I've been starting to try to learn how to sing. It's been a learning process. It's still painful for me to listen to myself, but it's been a lot of fun. And one of my buddies who used to play minor league ball for the Giants, Will Marsh, and we kind of got our heads together and wanted to get a little initiative. There's so many initiatives going on in social media, but doing something to get people inspired to play some music with all this downtime. And he's the real talent, and I don't know, it's been a fun little week doing that.
Hey, Steve, it's Dan. Do you take your guitar with you on the road now while you're playing?
I do. Yeah, I bring my guitar on the road and like to play. After games, it's a good way for me to kind of calm down and relax. We play late at night, and you come back from the hotel room and you got all this adrenaline going. It's a great way for me to wind down so I can get some sleep. And I've been bringing it with me. In the minor leagues, I had like a small travel guitar because I couldn't bring a big one. But now that traveling to the big leagues is a little nicer, so I can bring the real one with me.
Well, we watched Kevin Millar on Intentional Talk try to sing, but I work basically every night with Dan Plesac, and he's an old choir boy singer. Maybe you and Dan get together and throw something together. I don't know. Dan, I see you smiling down there.
I'd enjoy it.
I'll tell you what, Steve, maybe we could do maybe a little duet. I'll let you do most of the singing. I have problems with those high pitches. So if you can keep it low tone, we can do it.
Hey, Steven, I want to ask
Of
you a little
course.
bit of baseball while we have you here, too, because knowing that, you lost a lot of 2019 because of the knee injury and unfortunately kept you out of the wild card game at the end of the season, would you have been ready to go on opening day, or does this extra time away actually help you in coming off of that injury?
I think the extra time definitely helps. It's one thing though. I was starting to think about it. I haven't, gotten too many at bats in the last year, so getting my rhythm back is going to be important. But honestly, so much has kind of gone out the window with the way things have, gone this year. So I'm not going to worry about it. I just want to play baseball. I know everyone wants to play baseball, and I'm not too worried about the other stuff. Let's just get playing and having fun.
So let me ask you this, Stephen, and it's not a facetious question. What do you miss about baseball right now? What do you miss the most?
I probably miss my teammates the most. Just being in the clubhouse, I think you start to take that for granted every day. And, they're such a good group in Oakland. A lot of, big personalities, like to joke around and have fun. I definitely miss that. I miss competing. I feel like I find myself playing darts or playing pinball, whatever it is, just trying to keep that competitive vibe going. So I miss those two things for sure.
Hey, which one of those teammates that you miss is the worst singer? Because I got Chapman in our informal office pool as being a terrible singer. Any real advice there on how I should make my bet?
Well, Sean Mania, I think I've heard him sing, and he gets really into it, which I love, the enthusiasm, but I don't know if his voice is quite where it needs to be, but it's always entertaining on the bus or whatever it is. But yeah, he's a character.
Well, Mania can stick to skateboarding and pitching. That's probably better for everybody.
Yeah, he does it all. Yeah, he's a pretty interesting guy.
Hey, Steven,
Matt
we
just
really
dumping
appreciate
a
the time,
bucket
man.
on the Oakland A's, on the Oakland A's encyclopedia there. Look at you.
Oh, I like it. I like
Our
it.
graphics department is me right now in this box. So wipe with the A's logo. And thanks, Steven, for his time. Hey, thanks, man. We appreciate the visit.
Of course.
You are always more than generous, not only with us, but with charitable causes that come your way, including the Home Plate Project. So nice job, man. And we look forward to seeing you on the field sometime soon this season.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Well, I know that players across the sports landscape are all doing their part, but once again, Harold, baseball players leading the way, having raised almost $1 million for this cause. Really great work by that group.
Yeah, just to recognize and identify the best way to do it. Bringing all those guys together is really powerful to be able to have that many players. I'm sure that number will continue to grow because the needs will continue to be there. But it just once again shows how important that is for guys to get together and look at the need and try to help out and take care of it.
I agree, Harold. And all through baseball, there are some guys doing some really cool things to help a lot of the kids as far as feeding and making sure that people are trying to get through this pandemic the best that they can.
Yeah, and all throughout baseball, not only are players doing their part to try to provide relief to the pandemic, but they're also trying to entertain themselves. And to that end, yeah, it's happening. Video games, MLB The Show, the Players League. We'll have highlights and who advanced next on MLB Tonight.
MLB Tonight is presented by Camping World, making RVing fun and easy since 1966. Visit campingworld.com today.
Welcome back to MLB Tonight, presented by Camping World. Well, in the absence of live games, the MLB The Show Players League continued over the weekend. Tommy Kahnle hit a walk-off homer as Aaron Hicks against the White Sox. The Yankees advanced in the tournament. Hunter Pence actually played as himself and homered against Trevor Bauer, who was being operated by Amir Garrett. I wonder if there was any sense that he gave it up on purpose. Just probably not. Just thought crossed my mind. Elsewhere, Jeff McNeil had a walk-off hit as Wilson Ramos.
Run, baby, run!
And that would beat Nico Goodrum, who was pitching as Kyle Funkhauser. Mets beat the Tigers. Finally, the Padres enjoyed a 15-run inning against the Cardinals. Only in the virtual world can the Padres beat the Cardinals in a game that has postseason implications. Just never happens in real life. San Diego moves on. And I guess, Danny, look, the popularity of MLB The Show is surging. No real baseball, and everybody's playing online.
Matt, including a lot of players, it's the next best thing. I think the great thing about it is that it just looks so virtually the same, from the graphics to the players to the mannerisms. It's a hot thing right now. Anybody and everybody looking for any kind of baseball they can get their hands on.
I like it when guys play as themselves. I just think that adds a little more pressure to you, because if you don't hit for yourself or strike somebody out as a pitcher, that's got to be a little bit of a letdown.
Time for Winning Together, presented by Doosan.
The Red Sox returning to baseball today.
You can imagine the sense of relief that they must have today after the agonizing week that they have been through here in the city of Boston.
This jersey that we wear today, it doesn't say Red Sox. It say Boston. This is our city, and nobody gonna dictate our city. Stay strong.
Nava hits it in the air to right field. Francoeur going back. He's at the wall. Boston, this is for you.
Boston strong today as the Red Sox come from behind to defeat the Kansas City Royals on this most dramatic of days.
Hard to imagine that was 7 years ago when the Red Sox had a big game, a very emotional day post-bombing, and baseball and the Red Sox specifically helped their home market heal. You know, David Ortiz was the spokesperson for the recovery, I guess you could call it. But Daniel Nava was actually the hero on the field that afternoon.
Boy, it's so great in that clip to hear that voice of Jerry Remy, right? Daniel Nava, here he goes, kaboom, and he hits one into the bullpen in right center field. It sent the Fenway faithful into frenzy in a very emotional game for the city of Boston.
Well, for those that think that emotions don't matter and chemistry and all that, that propelled that club, which was a good team, no doubt about it, but they ended up winning the World Series that year. And I really believe that whole deal with Boston and the bombing just took that club to a whole different level of mental capacity, closeness, and community that really took that club to win a World Series. It was a great year for the Red Sox, and they turned that season around.
Well, from a celebrated team, guys, to a nearly celebrated accomplishment when we come back on MLB Tonight, the Perfecto that almost was a baseball anniversary of a near miss. Next.
Winning Together is presented by Doosan. Doosan and MLB remind you to stay at home and stop the spread.
Brian Holman still pitching a perfect game through 8 2/3.
Is 9:53 at night. The pitch swung on and a fly ball belted deep to right. Caught up to the track. Fly away. As Joe has gone back down below. The 2-2 pitch and the slider got him swinging, strike three. So one pitch away from perfection was Mr. Brian Holman tonight. And what a congratulatory group will come out to meet him.
Oh, so close, Harold Reynolds. 30 years ago today, your teammate Brian Holman was a Ken Phelps swing away from a perfecto. Tell us what you remember about that night in Oakland.
I got to take myself back. I felt like crying, Matt. I tell you, it's the one game you play when somebody's throwing a perfect game. You say, I'm going to dive, throw a ball away, make an error, anything I have to do. It was so close. His stuff was filthy. You saw that slider to Ricky to end the game. But he was so on. And that Oakland A team went on to win about 100 games. They ended up losing to the Reds in the World Series. But his stuff was just nasty from first pitch on. You know, Dan, I don't know if you realize it or not, but Brian Holman was picked 10 picks before you in the first round of 83 draft. He had great stuff. But I had a big night that night, Matt. You know, that's another reason you want to go ahead and let him complete this off. I mean, I had a RBI single, a RBI triple. I was swinging the bat. Here's Miss Bob Welch, a big year again for him. Here's a triple. Look how shallow they were playing me. Come on, man. Yeah, and you know who that was right there? That was Mike.
Mike Norris?
That was Norris pitching. Yep. How about that?
That's when he tried to come back.
Yes. And that was quite a night, man. It was really cool. It was a fun night, but I so wish Brian could have finished it. So that was my take on it. Dan, man, that's got to be so disappointing. Even if you're watching another team and pitchers that close. Are you pulling for the pitcher?
Oh, without a doubt, Harold. I was only part of one, the only no-hitter in Brewers history. Juan Nieves threw a no-hitter in Baltimore. The question I had for you, Harold, as this went into like the 6th and 7th inning, and you're aware, did you have a gut feeling that he was going to get it?
Oh, yeah. You know, the thing about Ken Phelps there, he pinch hit. He wasn't even in the lineup. He was a pinch hitter with 8 2/3. La Russa goes and has him pinch hit. And we had Ken Phelps and play with us a couple seasons, and they traded him over to the Yankees, and the Yankees traded him to Oakland. And to have Ken break it up with a homer, it was just devastating.
Traded him over to the Yankees.
Worst. Yeah, it was that's still one that I feel like got away from me, and I wasn't even the pitcher. That's a tough one.
How can you watch that without popping into your brain immediately? Beautiful Phelps, traded to the Yankees. Of course, one of a very small handful of Major League players to claim he was prominently mentioned in Seinfeld during its terrific run. That's a lot of fun. Brian Holman, by the way, went on to pitch only one more year because of shoulder trouble. He retired really in the prime years of his career because of injuries. Guy had a pretty good little run before he got hurt. A lot of fun looking back on that.
He came over to Seattle with Gene Harris and Randy Johnson in a trade for Langston. That's how we got home.
Randy Johnson could be on this list. However, his no-hitter did not come on an April 21st. Dan Plesac tomorrow on MLB Network, Tuesday that is, we will relive some no-hit glory, and 3 of these 4 no-hit / perfect game efforts occurred on an April 21st game.
You know, Matt, I look at those 4 games right there, 4 phenomenally pitched games. But one thing comes to mind, the top one, Mark Burley. The catch of Dwayne Wise to keep that perfect game intact, goes up on the wall in left center field, juggles it, bobbles it, hits the wall, comes down, catches the ball. In every no-hitter perfect game, there has to be one terrific play. Dwayne Wise's catch in the Mark Burley perfect game will go down as one of the biggest catches in a perfect game in baseball history.
Yeah, we'll start our no-hit / perfect game day on Tuesday with the Burley magnificence. That's coming up Tuesday on MLB Network. It was Hawk Harrelson's finest moment. Welcome back to MLB Tonight, presented by Camping World. Hey, looking around the league, some great charitable relief efforts. On Thursday, the Marlins Foundation, through the Home Plate Meals Relief Fund, surprised senior citizens by covering the cost of groceries at various local Sedano supermarkets. In appreciation of the staff, the Marlins provided them with masks made out of Miami Marlins jerseys and clothing. Great work by them. Great work by Alex Bregman over the weekend. He and his fiancée Reagan handed out food and supplies for children to 500 families in need as a part of the Houston Food Bank Kids Cafe. The event was organized by the St. Vincent de Paul Society in Southeast Houston. Really neat stuff happening around the league.